We're going to begin here in just a few minutes. We'll just see if there's any last minute attendees wanting to join here. Let's begin here. Good day and welcome to the webinar, and I thank you so much for joining. My name is Eric Granum, and today I'm here to talk to you about the Sharp V. AutoVu is the product name of our license plate recognition product line within Security Center, our unified platform for security, operations, and business intelligence. More data doesn't mean more information. Adding more sensors can overwhelm operators if they don't know where to look and when. Adding more sensors to a traditional system doesn't always lead to a more actionable information. Companies have locks on their doors and video covering the common areas. However, not all risks ever arrive within the typical security system. When events occur on your site before someone checks in, you may have difficulty determining who was there at that time. Knowing how people are using your facility is a difficult challenge, and operational decisions can be difficult to make when you don't know when people are using your facilities heavily and what their behavior is like. So how do we address these challenges? ALPR extends the reach of your security system beyond the doors of your building, so you know who is on site as soon as they arrive. License plate data and vehicle metadata not only provides new information on its own, it gives meaningful reference points to existing video and to other sensors, turning that data points into actionable information and enables operators to understand events and take action faster. Knowing more about who is at your facility has benefits beyond security, providing key reference points about who is using your lots, when they are there, and how long they stay. This data helps you make more informed decisions. With ALPR, you know who is in your parking lot, your cities, and when they come in and how long they've been there. Is this someone you know or someone that is an unfamiliar visitor? ALPR gives you that information, which can then be used to tailor your response so you not only react faster, but smarter. Beyond that, associate license plates to your cardholders to ensure that you know whether those people who are accessing your lots are employees, and keep former employees and personnel out. Not only does ALPR improve your day-to-day business, someone's talking. Not only does ALPR improve your day-to-day business and security, it also provides an enormous amount of structured data, occupancy violations, counts, time of day of when vehicles are present, and the number of vehicles that are in that area. This helps you plan for the future, when to construct a new facility or change the configuration of existing parking lots. So what is automatic license plate recognition? It begins when the camera actively is looking for a license plate within its field of view. Then, when the license plate is detected, we start a process of mapping out within that image. The software will verify this against various densities, grammar rules to determine whether this is indeed a valid license plate. In some cases, what appears to be a license plate may turn out to be a phone number on a mud flap or a business name printed on the side of a commercial vehicle. This would be considered false positives. Once we are confident that it's a license plate we are reading, we apply optical character recognition in order to decipher and translate those characters into the image or metadata. Reading license plates is challenging as plate formats vary drastically from province to province or state to state and country to country. Grammar in a license plate are the rules that apply in the background. Certain areas might always have the first character being a number, while others use a letter. Knowing and mapping out the grammar rules can help weed out the OCR equivalents. For example, a 0 and a D can appear similar, but knowing the first value should be a number can help the software to correct the conclusion. Software to get to the correct conclusion. Knowing the correct regional font can help eliminate confusion between a 1 and a 7. For example, if you shine a light in the back of a Florida license plate, the orange in the middle can appear as a 0. Using the AOPR context, we can help either include or exclude certain elements from a license plate background. Here's a quick demonstration of the workflow that we just described. A vehicle drives within the field of view of the license plate recognition camera. The dual lens camera then returns 3 values: a black and white image of the license plate from the LPR sensor, a color context image of the background from the context sensor, and read metadata, our interpretation of the characters within the license plate. We then talk about LPR performance. This is a common question that we get. What is your read rate? This is a common misconception in the LPR performance than the read rate. To measure the LPR performance, there are 2 key components: the capture rate and the read rate. The capture rate is the measurement of how many license plates were captured. For example, if 100 cars drive by and 100 license plates are read, then we have a 100% capture rate. The read rate, however, is the measurement of how well we interpreted the characters on the license plate that we captured. Once we read the license plate, we have the ability to compare this to once we have captured the license plate, we have the ability to compare this to various lists. Are these vehicles that we are expecting? Are they someone we're here to see or someone that we don't want to see? From there, we can take the information and react accordingly. For example, we can go ahead and cause an alarm or cause a PTZ to move to a preset. For example, if we have a casino that uses a VIP and the clientele drives in, a message can then be outputted to the hospitality suite, notifying them that the VIP has now arrived on site. A little bit about the Sharp V camera. It's our newest offering for the fixed LPR. The Sharp V camera, we call it the Sharp V because it's the 5th generation of the LPR hardware that we have manufactured. If you're familiar with our previous Sharp 3 camera, the big change here is that we have simplified the specification and deployment. Prior to the Sharp V, our cameras had fixed lenses, which meant that you needed to measure and order according to design. Now, with a varifocal camera, customers benefit from the increased flexibility. Now, the Sharp V, you only need to choose your preference of color, whether you want the camera in black or white, the lensing, which comes in 2 flavors, a standard range, which goes from 9 feet to 60 feet, or long range from 60 feet to 115 feet. Lastly, Genetec will provide the recommended illumination per state, province, or country. As we saw in the earlier plate characteristics, to help determine the appropriate amount of light to shine on the plate for optimal performance. The Sharp camera has 2 dedicated sensors, one for LPR, which is black and white, and the other is a color context picture. The camera has built-in illumination that can perform even in absence of any external light. Each sensor can be separately zoomed in and focused per the set screws on the bottom of the unit. The camera is PoE Plus and requires a single Cat5 or Cat6 cable. It also includes an I/O port, which can be used for a variety of settings, such as output signal to open a gate, or an input signal to trigger a reading from a ground loop. Talk a little bit about FreeFlow. AutoVu FreeFlow is a fixed LPR occupancy and parking platform. Using license plate recognition cameras, we read plates coming in and out of an area that we designate as a zone. These cameras covering each entry and exit point provided a closed geofenced loop. As we see in this slide, the free flow displays in real time the occupancy count for each lot, as well as the active violator count. This data helps help guide enforcement to where it's needed the most. Free flow can push the occupancy level stats to digital signage to help guide parkers to the appropriate zones with the available parking. This improves customer satisfaction while reducing traffic as cars proceed directly to the appropriate area. Take this garage for instance. You could set it up with a single zone at the entrance and exit that'll have a count for the entire garage. With this setup, you could tell the number of vehicles that are parked in the garage and a number of violators, but you wouldn't know the occupancy level of each individual floor. You only know it as a whole garage. Or you could put additional cameras on the ramps, and then you could treat each floor as an individual zone as displayed in the picture. Free flow can be used in either a paid or unpaid setting. The overview of a typical parking session. It begins when a plate is read by an entry camera, at which point we start the timer on a configurable convenience time. This is the buffer that allows the customer to go ahead and park their vehicle and either pay or check in so their plate is not on the known list. At the end of the paid time, a configurable grace period can be entered, which leaves a buffer for allowing the parkers to exit the garage. Any license plate still within the zone at the end of time of the grace period will now move into a violation state. License plate as a credential is an expansion over the traditional, let's read the right license plate and open the gate based on matching on a hot list. Instead, using license plate as a credential becomes a logical extension of access control, whereby the license plate is a credential or badge, and the Sharp V acts as a card reader. And in terms of reporting and management, there is a depth of control and configuration of the user and scheduled access, etc. The AutoVu Sharp V camera behaves as an access control reader, scanning the license plate, associating the credential to a cardholder profile in the Synergist Cloud link to grant or deny access based on the access rules and schedule of the gate. All access control events are buffered to Security Center for monitoring and reporting purposes. Connectivity from the Security Center to the Synergist Cloud link appliance to appear that the Sharp V camera is connected over IP. Building an intelligent security system. High-resolution cameras with a large field of view ensure to see more vehicle plates that come through your facility. Additional analytics, like the virtual loop, can help capture even vehicles that don't normally have a plate, missing plate, or a damaged plate, or vehicle plates that are obstructed by bicycle wrecks. By analyzing the video on the edge, your system only needs to send the license plate reads to your system, keeping the load on your network and servers low. This means that you can continue to read plates even if your network server goes down. Together with the independence of Synergist Cloud Link, this means that your license plate will enable access control to continue to function even if your server goes offline. Go beyond the simple taking action when wanted vehicles are identified, thanks to the advanced vehicle analytics. Configure your conditions to trigger the different actions. For example, send a message to your facility manager when an unknown vehicle is detected, but raise an alarm if an unknown vehicle is moving greater than 30 miles an hour. Change your system's reaction with granularity. The Sharp V is comprised of 2 camera sensors, a built-in processor, and illumination. So you don't need any external parts. Simply install the camera and read. With a varifocal lens and PoE+, the connectivity, varifocal lenses and PoE+ connectivity provide the ability to change to situations when installing and mean it's easier to stock and replace devices. Automate your actions based upon whether the vehicle is known or unknown, and whether you should be on-premise. Define the variety of hot lists to tailor your actions depending upon who is arriving at your facility. Pull up associated video and access control events or alarms when looking at certain vehicles. Narrow your persons of interest by looking for who was in your lot at the time the incident occurred. Plan out day-to-day operation tasks or major infrastructure changes based upon when people use your lot. Find out how long visitors stay on site and whether or not your lots are always full or have space to spare. We had reached the performance limits based on our traditional engine. In order to continue to improve, we had to rethink and redesign our engine. Genetec built a machine learning LPR algorithm from the ground up using in-house images from our cameras and trained it. This has led to an increase in our capture rate, our read rate, and provided the foundation to increase the depth of our analytics from the cameras. The amazing piece of software is designed to run on the camera themselves, offering increased performance with no additional server impact. What this means, the capture rate, for example, on the license plates, field of view of the camera, and the number of plates captured. Traditionally, we've captured 93.9%, but now with the machine learning, we've increased that to 98.6%, an increase of 4.7%. For the perfect read rate, we went from 91.5% with an increase of 10.5% to 97.8% of a perfect read rate. Fuzzy matching, this is for example where you have one letter off or one character off, we went from 97.3% to 99.7%. That's a 6.9% increase in performance. But the big thing is the false positives. We went from 1.6% of false positives to 0.1%. We have decreased the number of false positives by 1.5%. That's a 93% decrease in false positives. In an operational system, we are expecting to know or match license plates and additional false positives read to, let's try this again. In an operational system, we are expected to know or match license plates. Additional false positive reads create cluster and noise and take away valuable operator time and focus from where it's needed most. Our machine learning core engine boosts and improves 93% decrease in false positives, which keep your focus on where it's needed the most. Reliable and accurate license plate reads. At this time, if there's any questions about the LPR system, whether it's fixed, mobile, or if it is in regards to free flow, I am able to take those questions at this point. Okay, if there are no more questions, I am going to go ahead and conclude this webinar. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. You have a great afternoon.